I'm Kevin Stevens, a native Pensacolian, husband, father, and U.S. Navy veteran.
But that's not what this is about.
I'm a local businessman who has owned many successful companies over the years.
But it's not about this either.
Recently, I ran for public office and was elected to a seat on the ECUA Board of Commissioners.
So what's this about? It's about an elected official who will serve his community and hold his fellow elected officials accountable.
All while making local government more transparent. Join me in making Pensacola a better place to live, work, and play.
So welcome back to another episode of On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So again, solo this time. I always feel like on these shows I got a limited amount of time to put out a tremendous amount of information. And for those of you all who've been following me these last couple of years, since I've been doing the Blab TV show, my primary focus was to put out the information that is discussed in the meetings at the ECUA board meetings, not just the standard board meetings, but also at the CAC Citizens Advisory Committee meetings as well. So individuals that did not have the opportunity to be there at 3 p.m. would have the opportunity to get caught up on all the information or any of the changes, modifications, to ECUA policy procedures that you may have missed at the meeting. So, and then of course we've just kind of evolved into other issues that affect our community, the community that we all live in, worship in, and so forth. So I'd like to go back, in keeping with that theme, just jumping right into it, of our last ECUA board meeting. So I had the opportunity to chair the meeting, being the vice chair. Our chair was on a continuing education conference in the water industry, Ms. Campbell. So she was not able to make it. So that's why we have a backup, and in this case, that was me. So I was able to chair the meeting, and of course, it was a pretty contentious meeting. In my over 4.5 years of serving on the board, probably one of my more contentious meetings. And of course, the subject matter, as you all may have been following in the news, is fluoride in the water. So I have learned more, read more, spoken more about this particular subject than any subject matter I've been since I was elected 4.5 years ago on the board of fluoride. And again, folks, it's pretty contentious. You've got folks who, a lot of the ADA folks, dentists and so forth, associated dental professionals, who are very pro-fluoride. You've got folks on the other side of the fence who are very anti-fluoride. So again, it is a very contentious subject. Again, pros and cons. But at the end of the day, we're all neighbors here. We all have a vested interest in this, and I'm all about discourse. I'm a huge First Amendment proponent, and I'll let things go a little bit when it comes to tempers and being anxious about a particular subject. But of course, disrespect, we have to all keep it calm. Again, the moment that the animosity starts coming out, some of the name calling, it has the opposite effect. I'm not going to speak for other board members on their opinions on whether they're for or against fluoride in the water. I'm going to let them, give them respect as speaking for themselves. I can tell you my personal philosophy is this: a lot of my constituents are not really affected by this. So I live in Molino, Barth actually, serviced by Molino Utilities. So although we have ECUA garbage up there, Molino Utilities services the water. There's People's Water, there's Century, there's Gonzales, there's other water districts that service a lot of my area in District 5. So they don't currently put any fluoride in the water. So again, I'm sitting up there on the board trying to represent my constituents. I sent out several email, Facebook, social media requests trying to get you all's opinion, because again, my opinion is irrelevant. I was voted in by the people of District 5, so I feel like it's incumbent upon myself to put my opinion to the side and what do a majority of individuals who put me in this seat want to see. Most of what I got was they didn't want the fluoride in the water, and quite frankly, a lot of the folks in my area, again, back to Molino Utilities, weren't aware that there was no fluoride in the water. So I was like, folks, good news is this is a non-issue for you because it's not in the water anyway. But there's a lot of good arguments, especially for the amounts of fluoride that ECUA places in the water. It's very, very low, extremely low. But again, I'm not here to talk to you about being for or against it. Again, I want to hear from you all. You've sent me emails, private message, lots of phone calls. I even had North Escambia was gracious enough to do a survey on their website to kind of get some feedback on this very contentious subject of fluoride in the water. That was overwhelmingly, Mr. Stevens, we want you to take it out. So again, but I get it. Right now, this all could be a non-issue. A lot of folks may or may not be aware there's a congressional and/or Senate bill being proposed right now that addresses fluoride in the water, and it asked to have it taken out. So in the bill, in the Farm Bill, as it's being defined as, buried in that bill, it addresses fluoride and the removal of fluoride from the water. So if that passes in the House, in the Senate, and the governor doesn't veto it, I'm not going to speak to what our elected officials are going to do or not do. That'll be a non-issue. So again, we want to hear from you. Want your opinions, value your opinions very much. Would like to keep it civil. Like I said, we've got another CAC Citizens Advisory Committee meeting this coming up Tuesday at 3 o'clock. So please feel free to join that one as well. And again, we want to hear from you. Go up there, fill out that pink slip, get up there and chat with us. Give us your opinion for or against, but just keep it civil, keep it professional. And that's what I tell all the folks that are there. We're going to be professional. We're going to treat you with respect. We just expect the same in return. So that's all. In moving right along. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming out about fluoride. We've already got some folks that have reached out and plan on attending the meeting next Tuesday to voice their opinions. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for that particular meeting. I will be at the next board meeting, which is the following Tuesday. So again, individuals that want to address that with myself and the other board members, please feel free to come out. But I want you all to know we're on it. It's not falling on deaf ears. Every one of the board members have got open minds. They're listening to both sides of the argument so they can make an informed, intelligent decision. But don't think that everybody's just set in their ways and it's my way or the highway type of mentality, because that's not the case. And I don't think even the individuals who are against putting fluoride in the water, I hope that they saw that at last month's meeting, and they saw the willingness of the board members to listen with an open mind, with an open heart to those concerns. So stay tuned. That will be decided and discussed at the next couple board meetings. And like I said, when this congressional bill or Florida bill passes, the Farm Bill, this may or may not be a non-issue at that time. All right, stay tuned. We're going to break for a short commercial. Be right back.
It starts with a Total Connect Solutions power delivery system with solar, battery, and generator. Total Connect Solutions integrated windows, sound and video, lights into one dynamic system. Imagine a theater in your own home. With our expert team on our side, every high-tech need is met with precision and care. Total Connect Solutions, where quality innovation and true integration make your home come alive. TotalConnectSolutions.com.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does two things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. There are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
Change is constant. Insurance carriers, insurance requirements, and your needs now and tomorrow. Florida Insurance Agency is here for you. Let us help navigate the policies that serve your best interest. If there is ever an emergency, know that Florida Insurance Agency is right here on the ground with you during the storm. Locally owned and operated here in Northwest Florida for 30 years, we are here when you need us. Florida Insurance Agency. Call us today.
Your fleet runs or you're out of business.
From engines to transmissions to routine maintenance.
And emergencies 24 hours, 7 days a week. We can't fix it on location, we'll tow it in.
Poor maintenance can cost thousands of dollars in lost business.
We work with any kind of truck from small to semis.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance, your one-stop shop for all your fleet maintenance needs.
8668 Fowler Avenue, Pensacola. ExtremeFleetMaintenance.com.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So right before the short commercial break, we were just discussing fluoride, which seems to be a very hot topic right now in the community, as well as our legislators are going to be debating that with the proposed farm bill. But again, I'm not going to beat that dead horse. You like I said, we're on it. We're working on it. We're going to continue to work on it, and I think we're going to have a resolution here very, very shortly on what direction to go with that. Moving off of that, a lot of these shows, I like to educate folks on, again, the primary focus of this, which is ECUA and policies, procedures, a lot of misconceptions and so forth. So I don't want to be too repetitive on my shows talking about some of the same subject matter, but at the same time, I get a lot of the same questions being asked or emailed to me about garbage or recycling and so forth, and typically or bulk pickups. Those seem to be some of my main stuff, or sewer breaks on residential and commercial properties. So I'll start with recycling. I've had several people tell me, hey, look, I've seen a couple of your smaller garbage trucks, recycling trucks, come by our neighborhood and put our recycling can in the regular ECUA truck. Garbage truck. So why am I recycling? So let me address this. We've ordered trucks. ECUA probably has a half a dozen trucks, garbage trucks, recycling trucks that we've ordered 3 years ago. We're talking in this post-COVID supply chain issue, right? We still have not received those. Believe it, I'm not hoping these tariffs aren't going to affect that, but we have still not received those trucks. We've been putting Band-Aids in some of our older trucks, just keeping them on the road, maintaining them the best we can, but they have, in many cases, served their life expectancy, right? Their end of life feasibility for keeping those trucks on the road. So we're patching them up. But sometimes, all the patching in the world doesn't keep the trucks on the road, so we end up we're down a couple trucks, especially in more rural areas where I live. And most of my district lives. So you've got folks out there in Cantonment, Molino, Barth, whatever the case may be, that are small, one-lane streets. Some of them, aren't paved, and we can't get our trucks, like I said, back there. To some of those, we need the smaller trucks to service those. Well, when the smaller trucks are the ones that are being serviced, then in which case, again, it creates some issues on being able to pick some of that stuff up. So stay tuned, continue to recycle. We're swapping them out, but I am aware that some folks are having their recycling can picked up with a regular trash truck because we may not have a recycling truck available at that time, or that the size requirements, because again, we have different size recycling trucks as well. So it's not done on purpose. We're trying to do the best we can. I would also remind individuals that I still get calls on this all the time, that you've got one trash can, one recycling can, if you choose not to recycle. We want you to recycle, continue to recycle, be smart about it. But at the same time, if you choose not to recycle, I would much rather you call my office and ask for a second can at no additional cost to put all of your garbage into, as opposed to you contaminating the recycling facility with non-recyclables in there. So again, call me, call the office. We'll send you out a second one, no additional charge. Again, would much rather you do that to keep the contamination down. We're still fighting. I mean, like I said, it's a constant battle with ECUA to continue to do recycling, to make it viable. Again, I always tell folks it never was a moneymaker, but thankfully we had lost a city in the past. They had stopped recycling for a while. I'm pleased to report that the city of Pensacola is now going to start recycling, and ECUA will be that provider for recycling. So we're looking very forward to getting back into downtown Pensacola. For all you folks, we appreciate the additional revenue that makes the recycling facility viable. So again, with us losing Okaloosa-Walton County to Waste Management, they opened up a recycling facility there, losing Baldwin County, which were two of our major customers for recycling. Both of them now have their own recycling facilities there. They no longer send us their recyclables. It was nice to have the city back on board. Makes the balance sheet look a lot better. So again, wanted to kind of clear up some misconceptions on picking up recyclables in a regular garbage truck and why we're doing that for the short period of time. And as these trucks start rolling in, the new trucks, you'll see less and less of that happening. So anyway, other one, again, bulk pickups. Going back over bulk pickups real quick. Got to call us. I got folks saying, hey, you guys missed my bulk pickups. We got stuff, trash laying out here. No one's come by to pick it up. You got to call us. Again, you may have something, and there may be one or two of you in the entire subdivision that have something. So for us to send a truck out there to keep costs down, fuel, hourly, maintenance, wear and tear on the trucks, to run routes that there are no bulk pickups just doesn't make sense, right? I'm a business owner. A lot of you all are smart business folks as well. Understand that just doesn't make dollars and cents. So just call us, schedule the bulk pickup. We'll come pick it up. Just that simple. What we can't do, now I've had several folks call me and say, look, we had some renters over here that left a bunch of garbage and so forth at the front of their house. Can you guys come pick that up? Well, again, folks, we pick bulk pickups from paying in good standing ECUA customers. So I've referred to the county several times. We have several county cleanups. We had one a couple weeks ago in District 5, by the way. I hope you all were able to take advantage of that. And the county will come by. They don't care whether it's your trash, your neighbor's trash, or large, bulk items, washers, dryers, old mattresses, whatever the case may be. They're not too picky with that. They'll come pick it up. And so those services are offered through the county, not through ECUA. But I do frequently have customers call me and tell me that a renter may have moved out of a house and shoved all their stuff by the road, and can we come pick it up? So we're not able to do that because, again, those folks aren't paying for that service, and then in which case we've got a lot of folks out there that are saying, well, who's paying for that? Well, if we ended up picking up for free, you all would be paying for it. So again, call the county. They've got a service for that as well. So again, not that we're turning a blind eye to it, but those are reserved, like I said, for the paying customers. But the county, again, has a program for that. So again, and then we'll talk a little bit about sewer connections and so forth. I try to run through a lot of the questions that I get asked, phone calls, emails, and so forth, that I get asked from other customers, and I always think to myself, well, if this customer has an issue or this customer is confused about a particular subject matter as it pertains to ECUA, maybe there's more folks out there that have those same questions. So, I just had a friend of mine that owns a local business here ask me about a sewer break in their line. They're like, well, look, Kevin, how does ECUA handle that on the residential end and or commercial end? This happened to be a commercial business, but I always start out talking about residential. And I say, look, on the residential end, it's a lot simpler because, again, if it's from the meter back to your house, right? Meter, street, back to your house, that's your responsibility. Clogs, things of that nature, breaks, it's up to the homeowner to call the private plumbing company and have them fix that. From the meter out to the road and so forth, ECUA will take responsibility for that. So if there's situations where you've got breaks underneath the road, things that you can't get to, and it's from the meter out, basically in the public right-of-way, on the street, whatever the case may be, underneath the sidewalk, asphalt, whatever the case may be, then ECUA will make some exceptions for that, and we'll handle that for the residential customer at no additional cost to you. So, but there lies some of the confusion with that. Is I'll frequently get calls asking me about breaks in their yard, water lines or sewer lines in the yard, and I'm like, sir, ma'am, that's private property. We can't go on private property. That would be your responsibility. However, if it's on the other side of the meter, out in the road, in the right of way, residential, then of course that's ECUA's responsibility. So just want to clear that up. We're going to take a short commercial break, and I'm going to go into the more complicated explanation of how ECUA handles commercial businesses and sewer and water breaks. Be right back. Stay tuned.
Change is constant. Insurance carriers, insurance requirements, and your needs now and tomorrow. Florida Insurance Agency is here for you. Let us help navigate the policies that serve your best interest. If there is ever an emergency, know that Florida Insurance Agency is right here on the ground with you during the storm. Locally owned and operated here in Northwest Florida for 30 years. We are here when you need us. Florida Insurance Agency. Call us today.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Your fleet runs or you're out of business.
From engines to transmissions to routine maintenance.
And emergencies 24 hours, 7 days a week. We can't fix it on location, we'll tow it in.
Poor maintenance can cost thousands of dollars in lost business.
We work with any kind of truck from small to semis.
Oh, Extreme Fleet Maintenance, your one-stop shop for all your fleet maintenance needs.
8668 Fowler Avenue, Pensacola. ExtremeFleetMaintenance.com.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
It starts with a Total Connect Solutions power delivery system with solar, battery, and generator. Total Connect Solutions integrated windows, sound and video, lights into one dynamic system. Imagine a theater in your own home. With our expert team on our side, every high-tech need is met with precision and care. Total Connect Solutions, where quality innovation and true integration make your home come alive. TotalConnectSolutions.com.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So just moving right into this, folks. So we're short on time here, so I try to cover a lot of information in a very short period of time. So prior to this previous commercial break, we were talking about how ECUA handles residential and commercial sewer breaks, water breaks, whose responsibility that is to pay for that, the homeowner and or business owner or ECUA. So I think we explained that about residential. Let me get into commercial, because this is a little bit more complicated, and again, it gets complicated for me sometimes. So whereas when it comes to the meter back to your house is your responsibility as residential, and the meter out to the public right of way is ECUA's responsibility, when it comes to commercial businesses, currently the current rule is, it's all your responsibility. I don't care if it's from the meter back to your business or the meter out to the right of way. Any breaks, busts, things of that nature, is incumbent upon the business owner to fix and replace, repair, whatever the case may be, regardless of whether or not ECUA maintains that or not. So that can get kind of pricey. We have made we've made some exceptions. I'm always leery about saying that in a televised public show such as this, but I've had business owners reach out to me with some mitigating circumstances, and we were able to work with those business owners to make that happen. And that's usually in a situation where the break is in the roadway. I mean, so you've got a public county and or state-owned highway. The break is underneath that, and that can get costly. So you're talking about busting up asphalt, concrete, pavement, sidewalks, things of that nature. That can get kind of pricey. I am entertaining. In fact, you're going to hear it here first. at the next board meeting, which will be week after next, I am going to request that staff look into the financial feasibility of making the private and the residential and commercial rules the same. So basically, if it's the break where it comes from the meter to the public right away, ECUA may be able to. We're going to look at what that's going to cost to have ECUA pick that up. That, like I said, that could be pretty expensive. We're talking about ratepayers and so forth, having to pay a little bit more. But I'm, as a business owner myself, and I've spoken to several business owners, I'm not opposed to bringing that up and looking at that, because again, that's a hunk of money that private business owners are paying, and I believe ECUA should be able to give them, hopefully be able to give them a little bit of relief on that. But again, it doesn't come without a cost. And so, and again, we are a public utility. We're not for profit, right? So I have to remind people about that all the time. We don't have shareholders. I'm a shareholder. You're a shareholder. So anytime we add to our budget, and staff is telling me preliminarily, we haven't got all the numbers yet, they're saying, Mr. Stevens, this would add significant costs. We would need to hire more people and so forth to make those fixes and repairs that now are incumbent upon the business owner to make. Now, if the board so chooses and votes to have ECUA and our staff and our engineering and our road workers to fix that, that's obviously going to add costs and so forth. So what that cost is, I don't know, but we're going to look into it, and then it's going to be going back to the voters, because God knows, anytime we raise rates, I mean, the amount of indigestion by our ratepayers, we hear about it, trust me. And again, when we've made a couple rate increases and focused on paying our garbage haulers more money. And again, I got a bunch of hate mail and negative comments, and I got some positive ones as well. But I'm like, look, in the middle of July at 110 degrees in the shade, not the most glamorous job. Folks may or may not see necessary, very necessary, have to have it, and I don't have a line of applicants beating down my door to do that. So again, if we can target, if these increases are required based on cost of living and supply chains and of course now tariffs and so forth, we definitely want to target them for the folks. But speaking of that, I had another request from one of my constituents, ratepayers, asking about, is our ECUA employees' salaries and so forth public? And they're not. Some of the counties are. So again, board members and elected officials, ours are of course public information on what we make and so forth, but the individual employees, and interesting enough, I explained to that individual, I said, look, your timing is great, because when I reached out to the director, Mr. Bruce Woody, he just informed me that, interesting enough, we're actually working on a pay rate survey right now that covers all employees and all departments, finding out and giving the board members an opportunity to see what each individual department is making and what these particular positions pay. And we're actually doing it. I'm always about transparency, accountability and transparency, two of my favorite words on the English dictionary, which will serve that, obviously letting the folks out there know, okay, what does this position pay? What do engineers pay? What do HR position pay? What do a fleet maintenance position pay? That sort of thing. So you'll have all those, the low and the high. But it also is going to give myself and the other board members a very unique insight into, are we being competitive? And that's a question. I don't know. I know some of our biggest competitors are the private sector and some of the county and city positions that have similar job opportunities that we have at ECUA. So I'm very curious how competitive we are, because in a very competitive job market that we all find ourselves in, is ECUA competitive? Because we've got several open positions. So shameless plug, please go to our website, jobs at ECUA. And please apply, because we could use some smart, talented folks all the time. Hardworking, good work ethic, please apply. But again, we're struggling just like the private sector to find qualified folks. So I want to know if we're paying a fair wage, a competitive wage. And so this survey is going to help us find that out. And then we may even have to bump that up. We may have to sit there and say, hey, look, no wonder we're not getting anybody. We're not paying enough. obviously, but if we increase wages to get those folks to fill those necessary positions, right? Then that's going to come at a cost. And then we all know what the translation for that is. So again, we want to have all the facts before we make an informed decision to get back to the ratepayers and say, hey, look, here's what the study found. That'll be public on our website, and please feel free to look at that. Again, out of time. Thank you for joining me. Hope this was informative. Please continue to call me. My website will be at the bottom of this page. And God bless. We'll see you next month.